Director and CEO of the St. Kitts and Nevis Social Security Board, Mr. Christopher Louard, is leading engagements with employers and other stakeholders on Nevis to discuss reforms being proposed to ensure the sustainability of the Social Security Fund.
So what we're doing currently is looking at parametric reforms, looking at all of the variables that make up our Social Security, specifically as it relates to our long-term benefit, which is our age pension, and making decisions and recalibrating that would lead to the long-term sustainability of the Social Security Fund.
The board director explained that the most recent actuarial report from the Social Security Board submitted in 2021 showed that the Social Security Board's total expenditure is exceeding its contribution income. He said with contribution income accounting for the largest revenue source for the board, changes have to be made for the fund to remain viable.
And just as your household, if you're spending more than you're earning, there's something that has to give. Is either you go and try and get more income, or you have to cut back on your expenditure. So we are at what we call an inflection point, where we're seeing a change in terms of with the aging population and the changes in the demographics. So persons are getting older and living longer in St. Kitts and Nevis. More persons are qualifying for our age pension, and that means that we are paying out more than we are currently taking in terms of contribution income. So it's important that we look at all of these and make some changes. 82% of our overall total expenditure. So our age benefit, the pensions that we all receive in St. Kitts and Nevis when you get to the age of 62, makes up 82% of total expenditure. So we have to look at all of the variables. How do you qualify for an age pension? Currently we know that it's age 62, but can we increase that to say 65 or 67 because we are living longer? Can we look at the calculation of that pension? So currently, someone qualifies for a pension if they work for 500 contribution weeks, or the contribution for 500 contribution weeks. That equates to roughly 10 years. But can we delay that? Can we increase that to 15 years, or about 750 weeks? And that way, what we are doing is delaying the start of the payment of the pension, and in a way, trying delaying and reducing the growth in terms of our age benefit and overall our total expenditure. On the income side, we currently pay 11% in terms of contributions. So our employers pay 6% and our employees pay 5% for a total of 11%. But where we are and what we saw over the last 3 years, specifically at the end of 2023, that our overall expenditure was 16%. So 16% of our contribution goes towards expenditure, goes to the administration of the fund, benefit expenditure and administrative expenditure. So if you look at it, we're at 16% as it relates to expenditure, and 11% when we look at contribution income. So clearly you see that there is a gap. There's a 5 percentage point gap there. So how do we fill that gap? One of the ways that we can do is to increase our contribution rate. So do we increase, say, to 15%, 16%, 17%, in a manner that then covers the administrative and the benefit expenditure, the cost of administering the Social Security? So really there are two main ways: increasing the age, or making changes to how we qualify for an age pension. That's one parameter. Another parameter we can look at is in terms of the contribution income, or the contribution rate that we currently pay into the Social Security Fund.
The Social Security Board will continue its public outreach and sensitization campaign over the next few months to garner feedback and suggestions from the populace, including public and private sector stakeholders, non-governmental organizations, labor unions, and political parties before ratifying the reform recommendations. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.